right, guys, welcome back to Tommy Point, episode 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure. Brought to you by Chasing Rings, the podcast. Kyle, Luke, Joe, Victor. Guys, it's been a weird couple of weeks with the Celtics. Let's try to recap it all. We're going to push through it, talk about as much as we can in as little time as possible. Guys, Kemba Walker's back. Jason Tatum's back from his COVID experience. We've had some weird up and downs. I mean, Kemba came in against the Sixers. It didn't really work out so well. Right? He played against the Sixers?
Mm-hmm. The Knicks was his first game. That terrible Knicks game.
Yep, the Knicks game. He played against the Sixers. We missed Tatum for the Sixers series. Then Tatum comes back, and we blow out the Cavaliers without Kemba. And then they win against the Bulls. And then an ugly loss to the Spurs. Guys, I don't want to waste any time even breaking down these games because I think it comes down to the same two things that we've been worried about. Number one, Brad Stevens. Our very first show was 5 games into the season. I think we were 3-2, maybe 4-1. And we said, you know what, Brad's doing okay. His rotations are good. He's using his timeouts. He's getting a little more exercise on the bench. He's walking those sidelines. And now our all-star point guard is back. Our superstars are healthy. Sorry, Luke, I'm calling them superstars because they're better than Kemba. They're next level.
Yep.
And he has no idea what he is doing. None. Now, we look at this, guys, and I'm going to let you guys speak in a second because I want some opinions on all of this. We all were like, holy shit, Tice and Thompson? And then we're like, holy shit, Tyson Thompson. Yeah. And now we're going away from it. And what was it against the Spurs that we played 12 guys? Carson Edwards.
We played 12 guys in the first half.
In the first half, right? So the Spurs, a team that I don't even care statistically what it says. I don't even need to look. They dominated us down low. They dominated us on the boards. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I intentionally put my head on the pillow and said, if I fall asleep, I fall asleep because I couldn't watch any more of it. Brad Stevens has no idea what a rotation is. He has no idea what he has on his roster, and he is going to let this team fall to who knows. Who knows? He can't trust talent alone. We've seen it with other teams in the past that you can't just win with talent because you have talent. You need to control the talent. You need to coach it. You need to implement systems, and you need to work on that. Luke, what are your current feelings on this team right now? What is the biggest downfall with it?
Oh, my God. Well, I mean, first off, that Spurs game, Brad threw it away. We didn't even try to win that game. It was, hey, everybody goes out and play and let's have fun. It was a college game. It was pathetic. It was deplorable. Brad Stevens should be in his room crying, shaking. He should be ridiculed. He should be trending on Twitter. It was an awful decision. How do you play 12 people in the first half? Even Scal's watching the game. Like, I don't want to, ever judge Brad Stevens, but like, I've never seen 12 people play in the first half in my entire time watching basketball. Yeah, because it's ridiculous. You have an 8 to 9 man rotation, and then you have bench players that can play in garbage time. That's how the NBA works. That's how a roster works. Screw you, Brad Stevens. You threw away a game. You lost me a shitload of money. Not that matters, but you fucked up, Aaron. Like, how do you not try to win a game? How do you have – it's the first time all season that we had everyone healthy, and you throw the game away. What are you doing?
I mean, Kyle, let me ask you this. So we have this weird mix. So Jeff Teague is playing himself out of the rotation, but let's say that it's him, Robert Williams, really, and ideally Marcus Smart in the right world, maybe Daniel Tice, whoever he starts, Thompson, whatever it is. There's really only 3 guys that are fixed into the rotation, in my opinion. But then you pick and choose out of the bucket who's going to have a decent game off the bench, and it's a pile of Javonte Green, Semi Ojeleye, and Aaron Nesmith, and I guess Grant Williams. So you got 4 guys. 1 to 2 of those should get 10 minutes a game, give or take. Are we confident with one of them yet, or are we going to keep doing these experiments like 12 guys in the first half? What's your feelings? Do we have that 9th guy yet?
Well, this is Brad Stevens to me right now. It's like a roller coaster, right? Where it's like he was going up, and when you're on a roller coaster and it's going up there, it's everything's good. Like, we said a couple nice things. We called the Twin Towers with Tyson Thompson, and we like literally asked for that, I think, last show. And then like the next 2 games, Brad did that, and we were like, great, like this is great. And we asked for Naismith to play meaningful minutes, and he did, and he looked good. Naismith is trending up.
And then, like you said, we get Kemba back, and for whatever reason, Brad Stevens, like, it's like the roller coaster, man. As soon as it goes over, starts going downwards. It's like that thing went off the rails because it's like,
I think he's playing too many games with these rotations and off the bench. I think 3 players that need to see more time are Robert Williams, Nesmith, and Carson Edwards.
And no, Carson Edwards should not be.
Carson has been playing more though.
Carson Edwards should not be in the lineup. Jeff Teague, we got Jeff Teague to be a backup point guard. He's not playing himself out of the rotation. He's being removed from the rotation. Pritchard was playing well. I get that you're playing the hot hand. Pritchard was playing well. Again, he's like the hot hand. Pritchard's injured now. Put Teague is the backup point guard on this team. He's veteran leadership. That's why we got him. He deserves to be 6-7 man off the bench.
So I get 2 questions for you guys. Just nod yes or just quickly say yes. Are we all still on Kemba, Brown, Tatum, Tice, and Thompson as our starting 5 with Marcus Smart coming off the bench?
Yes.
Are we all still on that?
Yes.
Joe? I'm 100%. And Jeff Teague is our backup point guard. Marcus can play the 1 through the 3 because of his size, his tenacity.
The 1 through 5.
Yeah. So then you have Robert Williams as your big. So you have your point, your forward, whatever you want to call him, your wing, and you have your big man. Then, depending matchups, you have your bag of tricks. You got your Semi, Javonte, Nesmith, Edwards, Grant Williams, right? Then, depending your matchups, you have to use them in certain situations. If Tice gets into foul trouble, you might go Semi because you need another big man. If Jalen isn't shooting very well, you might go Nesmith, even though he's just kind of getting some minutes now, so that's a stretch. If the pace is really slow and we're unathletic, you go Javonte Green. So why, I just don't understand. We know our 8 guys. We know it's 8, and with Pritchard, probably 9. We'll give Pritchard, I think Pritchard is in the rotation. That's our 9th. So even if we go 10 deep, I'm okay with that. But we shouldn't be experimenting in games, right? Like, don't you think going into matchups, okay, we're playing a big team or an athletic team. Like, we're playing a team that shoots a lot from the outside, so we have to close out. Javonte Green will close out on the 3s. Don't you think Brad should say, this is my 10th guy of this game, and that should be his first and only move until it doesn't work?
Yes. Jeff Teague played 7 minutes against the Spurs. 7 minutes.
Why? Against Patty Mills. He should eat Patty Mills alive with those 2 facing each other off the bench.
Yep.
So that's what I'm kind of confused with. So we're playing Lamarcus, Keldon Johnson's big, Dejounte Murray's big, Rudy Gay is big, Jacob Poeltl. Like, these are all big guys for their positions. And we go with the smaller lineup. I'm sorry. Putting Jason Tatum at the 4, if we can't push the pace, and we'll get to that next, is a detriment to our rebounding, our defense, our closeout defense. So now we're missing the Tristan Thompson offensive rebound buckets that we've been getting. We're missing Daniel Tice being on the outside, which sounds crazy, but it's working. It's opened up the paint. He either sits in the corner and draws a defender and does nothing, or he's going to hit a 3 and it's working, right? So why are we doing small lineups against big teams? It does not – LaMarcus Aldridge, I mean, what did he finish with? He should have eaten us alive if he – 20 points. He only had 3 rebounds, and it doesn't even make sense, right?
Well,
like, he felt –
Keldon Johnson ate us alive.
Yeah, Keldon Johnson had 10. Dejounte Murray had 11. I mean, that team was so much bigger and longer than us. So let me ask you guys this. Do you think you have to keep Tatum out there at the 4? Sorry, so you're keeping Smart in the lineup to push the pace because the offense is going stale with Kemba?
I don't know. Like, here's what I've seen from Kemba so far. He's exactly what I expected. He's scoring. The offense, the half-court offense is stagnant, and our defense is suffering. And he's averaging 4 assists. Like, we can't do that. We need to share the ball. We need to run Kemba off of picks. We cannot have him dribbling around. Like, it's the same thing we saw last year, except we don't have Hayward there as a mediator. That's my opinion.
Okay. Now, Kyle, you're a big Kemba guy. I'm not worried so much about Kemba's individual performance. I trust Kemba to take the game-winning shot. I trust Kemba with the ball in his hands. So I give a lot of blame to Brad Stevens in his system and his scheming in the half-court offense. But why isn't Kemba elevating the team personally? Like, I'm sorry, you can call plays in basketball, but the guys on the court control the game.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first time watching the other night where, like you said, I'm a big Kemba guy. I've been like, give Kemba time. I was worried the other night watching this game. This was the first time where I was like, you guys are 100% right, where it's like the offense is stale and stagnant right now with him on the floor. And then I just got mad because I'm like, okay, so obviously number one, this is on Brad. Like Brad, and just real quick comparison, it's not exactly 1-to-1, but so far from what we've seen in Brad Stevens' coaching career with the Celtics, he does not do well when he has too many options. I mean, even back to Kyrie Irving, right? Where like we were like, oh, he's gonna have all these dynamic options. It seems like the Celtics do better as that underdog team, and Brad does better when he has less options, which is weird because you think he would like be like a basketball genius. You know, we talked about like Josh McDaniels. We're like, this is gonna be the year Josh McDaniels lights it up, and it's like, well, that didn't happen. Well, for Brad, to me, it's like the number one thing I see with him, it's like he doesn't know how all those pieces fit. And it's like he's better with less puzzle pieces. So like now he's got all these pieces and it should be great for him, but instead he's just regressing. And so like part of me is mad at Brad because every time you watch Kemba, it's like I'm just getting mad because I'm like, there's like one high pick with Thompson or someone, and that's it. But the other guys are standing at the 3. And I'm like, dude, like Brad needs to tell number one, he needs to rein them in and say, guys, like, what are you doing? You're all professional athletes. Yes, Kemba's back. That's great. He's flashy. But you guys should be moving around. You guys should be doing off-ball stuff. Look at Steph Curry, dude. He's always getting open with off-ball stuff, like when he doesn't have to. And it's like they're just doing something. And it's like, so, yes, Brad is to blame primarily, but I also give the blame to the players because it's like, you guys shouldn't be sitting there watching Kemba. Like, this is an NBA game. You need to, like, move around and have some energy. Like, because they're just watching him shoot right now. And, like, you know, he's been good, but, like, you can't make all the shots. And
What's it?
I mentioned the other night, he had, like, a bad 3 where I think they were down 2. And, like, I didn't like that shot at all. But
so this is what scares me. And, Joe, I kind of have this question for you. So the Lakers-Sixers squared up the other night. Sixers edged them by 1. You watch those two teams. They're both top of their conferences. They're both playing very well. We lost the Sixers twice. I know it was without Tatum. I have us losing to the Lakers tonight. You look at their team, and you know who's coming off their bench, at what position, and almost at what time. Like, it's organized and it's constructed, and you know what's going to happen, and it's working. Are you concerned that, like, our bench is just still a question mark? Like, where Brad has to guess and plug and play every game on, I don't know what he's guessing on, merit maybe, I don't know. Are you concerned with that, Joe?
I mean, I think anyone has to be. It's pretty simple, really. If you're still trying to figure out the pieces to your puzzle or where everyone fits in, while other teams are pretty much set in stone, like the Lakers are crisp that way, you're always going to be playing catch up. You know, regardless of the score, you know, late in the game, you're going to be playing catch up. If you don't know where certain guys fit and like plug and like play where they are supposed to be, and other teams do, you're just not going to compete. You're not going to be able to compete down to the wire, in my opinion.
This is a fucking high school offense. It's a high school team. You have the five starters, and then Joe Schmo had a great practice. Let's give him some playing time and get a little energy. Like, that's exactly what it is. Like, you had a great practice. Let's get him in there.
And that's kind of what bothers me, Luke, is our bench goes stagnant, or we try to push it with energy, which I'm a pace guy. I think energy is huge, especially for a young team. But our defense goes stale a little bit, and then we have to go to half-court offenses. And when we get to our bench, we don't have a half-court offense with Javonte Green and Semi Ojeleye. They have to turn defense into offense. I'm sorry, Marcus Smart fixes that. Marcus Smart needs to come off the bench playing 25 minutes still. We're not taking minutes away. We're not taking shots away. We're not taking touches away. But he needs to come off the bench and be part of that second unit. So then when Jalen gets rest, so it's Marcus, Tatum, and 2 scrubs, Javonte, Semi, Jeff Teague, whatever, and we get deeper. Yep. You know what I mean?
Marcus has been really good. I will say that. We've talked in the group chat a bit. Vic, I know you want Kemba to assist more. I would argue that he's not a scoring point guard, but like Marcus is that pass. Marcus has been phenomenal, but I want him off the bench, like you said. It's because you need balance there. I think too, Pritch was putting up shots on the floor the other night, so I think he's gonna be back soon, I think. And I think like he is a really important piece to that. I mean, that's kind of why Naismith and Pritch we drafted, right, to fill 2 big holes. And Naismith is showing promise. I think he's been playing a lot better lately, so I like that. But like Pritch came in and just like kind of killed it from the get-go, and now I think we're seeing without Pritch in there, we're kind of seeing last year's team a little bit, and it's like it's a lot of iso ball, like we're saying, and it's like I think we forget how important he is to this team.
Yeah, but we saw that with Pritch in there too, with like Kemba back. Like this is what our offense is with Kemba on the floor, and like I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Like, pick and roll basketball is easy, as long as there is ball movement and player movement. Like, that's all basketball offense is it's matchups, it's player movement, it's just find the open man. It's fucking simple. And when you try to have Kemba Walker, like, I mean, he's a phenomenal dribbler. He's a phenomenal offensive player, but you don't run the pick and roll correctly with him because you have no off-ball rotation. And Kyle, you mentioned that earlier. Like, no one's moving. As soon as the first game Kemba got back, everyone watched. It was outrageous. Like, they watched Kemba be like, oh yeah, look at him go. Like, it's mind-boggling. I don't understand it.
So I'm kind of looking forward a little bit at the schedule, guys. The next 6 games, you have the Lakers, Warriors, Kings, Clippers, Suns, Jazz. I mean, you are facing the top of the West, and it is mismatch central. Steph Curry's going to run circle. Yeah, Steph Curry's going to run circles around Kemba, and they got Wiseman and Looney, which is going to be a big battle for us. The Kings, De'Aaron Fox is going to ruin Kemba, and they are big, big, big. Then you got the Clippers with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and that becomes a Jalen and Tatum game. And I like that 2-2 matchup. It might be okay. The Suns, I think we should beat the Suns, but they're a very good team. And then you got the Jazz 15-4. I mean, guys, this is a scary stretch. And what kills me is during the downtime in which we had some scheduled losses with Tatum out and Kemba out, that's when you play Nesmith. That's when you find out what the kid can do. You play him 15 minutes, not experimental 5 minutes in the second quarter to throw a game away. I don't understand what Brad is doing. If he took the time to develop Pritchard, develop Nesmith, right now we took some losses, but it paid off in the end, I'd understand it. But now these next 6 games, you have to tighten up your bench. You are 8 guys max, and then a Semi, a Javante, or a Grant as your 9th guy in spot minutes. Like energy minutes or whatever. But this is going to be a bad stretch, guys. I could see us going 2-4, maybe even 1-5. And I don't want to be that negative, but it's scary.
No, I agree.
Brad doesn't have a sense of the bench right now. He doesn't have a sense of the half-court offense. And if we can't play defense, we're screwed.
Not to plug our Bruins show, Black and Gold, but we talked on that show about how this is a big week for the Bruins coming up with the measuring stick week. This is the same thing for the Celtics. Measuring 100%. Stick, 100%. But the Celtics are going against like the top teams in the NBA.
It's a bigger week for the Celtics, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
I agree. I have more confidence in the Bruins this week than I do the Celtics. 100%.
I mean,
absolutely.
We're currently 10-7, guys. There's a strong chance we're under 500 in 7 days.
Fifth seed in the East, baby. I said it. 5th seed in the East.
It's scary. So. Sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, sorry, just one. So if depending on the season goes, because there's a lot of ball left. If things start to like tumble and go bad, then I'm more open to selling Kemba for sure. Because I thought he would come in and things would be great, but obviously that's not the case. So if things continue to slide downwards, then I'm 100% like if Kemba looks good and some team wants him and we want to change that up, then like I love Kemba, but if it's not working, it's not working.
The only positive thing that has come out of this so far is Kemba Walker does look good. He looks healthy. And unfortunately, it's exactly what we expected. It's exactly what I expected with the offense. And so that's terrifying to me, is that like my expectations have come through. The other positive is that we've seen the entire team together healthy 1 game. That's the other positive.
Right. And that is one thing to look at. Yeah. Sorry. And we talked about it in Chasing Rings, and we talked about it when we talked about the Bruins a little bit. The Celtics do play up to competition. I think that our level of compete against these next 6 games will be very high. I think we'll be in every single game, but it's going to come down to Brad Stevens. And right now, my confidence level of Brad Stevens is not very high. And that I think that's what truly scares me, is our players will keep us in games, but Brad is going to coach us out of them. And that's sad, man. I mean, we know I was a huge Brad Stevens advocate. He was my pick when Doc left, but I'm concerned, guys. It's an ugly thing. So let me ask you guys this. If you were the GM, if you were Danny Ainge, are you looking for bench depth, or are you Kemba and Robert Williams, or whatever it takes to get a Karl Anthony Towns or Bradley Beal? Are you getting a real third piece? Because I'm sorry, Kemba is not the third piece that's going to get it done right now.
I think we just need 2 3-and-D players off the bench. That bench still needs to change. That's all I need at this current time to make us competitive.
But how does that fix the starting 5's offense?
Because you do the Twin Towers and you do Kemba, Tatum, Jalen, I think that lineup will work. I think the Twin Towers lineup is working. I think it gives us enough options in the pick and roll. Tice is actually shooting the three this year. He's not shooting it exceptionally well, but he's stretching the floor. And Tristan has been a monster on the offensive boards. I think that lineup will work if we give it time. And having some shooters off the bench is going to help the assist ratio. It's going to help us with ball movement. And as long as we can control the defense still and have that tenacity, we can win. So I want 2 3-and-D shooters off the bench. And I want the rotation to be shored up. And I don't want Brad to do what he did in San Antonio, which is play fucking 12 players. And are you kidding me? I can't get over it. Are you kidding me?
Luke, great point. I mean, I think the offense will work so much better with Smart off the floor. Not that it's Smart's fault necessarily, but I think I think the Twin Towers will make the other three much better. So tonight we're gonna have Anthony Davis, 6'10", 7-footer, and Marc Gasol.
Yep.
Are you gonna make Jason Tatum play the 4 and cover Anthony Davis, which I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will in minutes. Why wouldn't he? They're the same size. But why not go big? Because then you have Schroeder, which. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be interesting for Kemba.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough matchup.
And you have LeBron and Caldwell Pope. I mean, this is a tough starting 5. You honestly have to start the Twin Towers because then you got Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench, another big Markieff Morris coming off the bench, Kyle Kuzma. You got 3 guys, 6'9" and bigger, who play very big coming off the bench too. You have to start the Twin Towers. If you're outsized from the beginning, you're outsized the whole game, and it's going to be ugly.
I agree. I think this is the perfect time. This is the perfect opportunity to see that lineup in action against, I hope LeBron and AD play because I know they're both questionable, against a very, very good LA team, top 2 in the NBA, right? Mm-hmm. And then you can see how Robert Williams, Marcus Smart, Jeff Teague play off the bench. This is exactly the game and the lineups we should be playing every night. And if they don't come out as we expect, and they don't play the lineups we expect, I'm going to be so fucking mad. I'm going to be furious. I might open a Twitter account and just start tweeting at Brad. It's outrageous.
I agree. Joe, do you think we have any chance tonight against the Lakers?
Well, the Lakers have lost 2 back-to-back away games, though. But LeBron said today or last night, whenever they interviewed him, how he's feeling about him being, like, exhausted or fatigued. And he said he doesn't get tired. So, I mean –
I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, we might have to have the GOAT talk soon because I'm a huge LeBron guy. Guys, so, I mean, Kyle, you answer the question. Do you want to upgrade Kemba for a 3rd superstar like a Karl Anthony Towns, Bradley Beal, or do you want to add bench?
Right now, I think the number one thing for me now, Luke said it, is time. Like he said, we've had 1 game healthy, so I know we don't want to overreact. I know we tend to do that as a group chat, and myself included, we tend to overreact. So I want to give it time. I want to believe that the talent is there and Brad can figure it out. He hasn't proven that yet, but I don't want to run them out of town just yet. Although I will say, depending on how the season goes, like if they have a bad season or it ends short again, Brad's got to go. But
let me just say one thing, too. You guys are getting super hopeful maybe that we'll do something at the deadline. Maybe something will happen with Brad Stevens.
Trader Danny.
Just get it through your head now that Brad Stevens isn't going to go anywhere because they love him clearly, despite all the bullshit. And we're probably going to stand pat at the deadline.
You're definitely right.
I just want you to
get ready, prepare for it.
Yeah, I am going to. Sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, sorry. I just realized I didn't answer your question. I would like a guy off the bench, like an Isaiah Thomas, maybe. I don't know. Also, this really quick, this Beat LA shirt that I got, this is from 2008 when we played the Lakers, when Kobe, R.I.P. Kobe, just passed the 1-year anniversary of his death. But
yeah. I 100% agree with Joe. I think we're going to end up standing pat, which is an absolute shame. That means we gave away Hayward for nothing. I think for some reason they're still banking on Romeo Langford, and I agree. I think he's going to be in the rotation when he comes back, but that's not going to change much for us. I think he's that 9th guy that we're trying to find because he's a better offensive and defensive scorer than Semi and Javonte Green.
We don't know that. He hasn't fucking played. We don't know what Langford. No, we don't know what Langford.
He's better than Semi and Javonte Green. But I'll tell you this much. In my opinion, to fix this offense consistently, it's transition offense from good defense. It's better passing from the point guard and better pace. And someone who does all three of those things, that stock is plummeting, that will come very cheap, and you're all going to disagree with me, and I don't care, is Russell Westbrook. He does all three of those things. He is tenacious, his tenacity. He does all three of those things to keep our offense going, and that man has no choice to fix his legacy but winning. So I don't see them trading Beal. I see them potentially moving Westbrook, but his stock is so low. Kemba for Westbrook, I do it in a heartbeat because it's not a slight at Kemba.
Oh,
It's an upgrade of what I think we need from an offense, and I think Westbrook is in a win now mentality.
Yeah, my only concern with Westbrook, I actually really like that because he rebounds and he passes the ball. Turnovers are obviously a concern, but my biggest concern is just our 3-point shooting gets much worse, and you need that in the NBA. But we've seen it work with Philly, so
yeah.
Who
knows?
I think
All right.
Westbrook's having a really poor. I think I just saw an article or something that Westbrook is like. I mean, obviously Washington is just, man, either him or Beal are gotta go, and like that's a whole different story. But I love Westbrook. I don't like. I agree with Luke though. I don't know if that's an upgrade because I think his outside shooting this year in particular is pretty poor.
No, I do think it's an upgrade. I just think that it changes the dynamic of what the Celtics offense is.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just our big three shooting 3-pointers.
All right, one last question for you guys. Who leads the game in scoring tonight? Just one scorer. Either team. Who is it? I have Anthony Davis. He's putting up 40 points on us.
Anthony Davis, probably 28 to 30 points.
I think
AD.
LeBron's dropping like 45, 40.
Yeah, I was gonna say LeBron, but AD has been on its hair. So.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, that wraps up Tommy Points. Appreciate you, boys. Make sure you guys check out Chase and Ring. Subscribe on YouTube. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Give us some love. We appreciate all of you. Peace.
Go Celts.